A shiver of anticipation ripples through the silent halls of the Cairo Museum as the relentless desert wind carries whispers of a millennia-old secret. Deep beneath an ornately carved reliquary, a lone custodian's torchlight reveals the edge of a hidden chamber, its entrance etched with the cryptic glyph Ankh-Morpork. This tantalizing discovery, reminiscent of the 5,000-year-old Saqqara manuscript unearthed just days ago on June 18, 2025, which warned of civilization ending cataclysms, underscores how every grain of sand may conceal apocalyptic lore. Yet this is more than conjecture. In April 2025, a team led by Dr. Zahi Hawass confirmed that beneath those ancient stones lies the pink-granite false door of Prince Wazirif-Re, an emblem of divine authority, and according to the tablets, final verse, the key to awakening Ra's eye. Here, in the flicker of torchlight, expert analysis melds with spine-tingling myth. Each hieroglyph becomes a pulse, each echo a countdown. As the wind's lament crescendos, listeners find themselves perched on the edge of time, poised between scholarly revelation and supernatural reckoning, wondering if some myths demand their due at the precise moment we believe them silenced. Forever, beneath the moonlit expanse of the Giza Plateau, a hush descended as Dr. Amara Farouk, whose nights have been haunted by visions of a golden Ankh dripping with ancient hieroglyphs, first laid eyes on the fractured tablet inscribed Ankh-Morpork, a name entwining myth and geography in a single breath. In that charged moment, the museum's curator presented this relic with scholarly detachment, yet the air quivered with unspoken promise. The whispered legend of a phantom city straddling two worlds, one of sand and one of shadow, was no longer confined to dusty tomes. Objective analysis confirms that in March 2025, an international team deployed ground-penetrating radar to reveal what appeared to be a labyrinthine complex, stretching nearly 2 kilometers beneath these iconic monuments. Discovery set to redefine Egyptology, yet Dr. Farouk's heart surged beyond the bounds of empirical data. As she traced her fingertips over the tablet's worn edges, her mind flickered with academic rigor and primal awe in equal measure, alternating between the facts and the fables. Remote sensing surveys last May detected twin interconnected voids near the Pyramid of Khafre, fueling speculation of concealed passageways that may converge with the tablet's cryptic cartography. Then, as midnight's veil enveloped the museum, the broken stone glowed in ethereal cerulean, projecting a shifting network of veins across the marble floor, an intricate shadow map of subterranean tunnels that beckoned explorers and warned trespassers in the same breath. In that unearthly luminescence, hieroglyphs long silenced seemed to speak again, promising access to realms where the living and the dead might mingle, yet cautioning that any misstep would awaken a curse older than dynasties. This singular phenomenon aligns with Dr. Zahi Hawass's most recent hypothesis that beneath the pink-granite false door of Prince Wazirif-Re, whose own sarcophagus remained sealed under layers of political controversy, lies the fulcrum of an esoteric gateway, Ra's eye, whose activation could ripple across the Nile Valley. Farouk, torn between her scientific training and the tremors of her soul, convened a clandestine circle of experts, a linguist driven to the brink of obsession, an antiquities dealer whose avarice simmers beneath polite scholarship, and a shadowy guide claiming lineage from pharaonic priesthoods. Their task, a perilous translation of the tablet's final verse, would demand equal measures of intellect and sacrifice. To uncover the phantom city's threshold, they must align each glyph with corresponding constellations, matching celestial movements recorded in Dr. Farouk's own paper in the Journal of Near Eastern Studies this April, which revealed fresh insight into the Ankh-Morpork mythos. As torches were lit and boots pressed against cold stone, the air bristled with expectancy. Every whisper became a portent, every echo a call to destiny. With each creak of the subterranean doors and every flicker of sphinx-carved reliefs along the walls, the team edged closer to a revelation that straddles the boundaries of history and legend, a convergence that, once ignited by the tablets, will force the world to confront whether the myths of old were cautionary tales or blueprints for awakening powers best. Left undisturbed, beneath the flickering torchlight, an uneasy silence fell as Dr. Farouk's hastily convened fellowship gathered under the vaulted crypts of Giza, a skeptical linguist whose arrhythmic heartbeat echoed against stone, a mercurial dealer of antiquities whose avarice shone sharper than any blade, and a furtive thief claiming descent from the pharaohs themselves. By moonlight, they pressed their fingers to the fractured tablet's surface, tracing each glyph in careful unison objective scholars, decoding an arcane ritual, even as their hearts pounded with dread. In hushed tones, they rendered the prophecy's promise of the rebirth of Zahi, an eldritch resurgence said to unite the living and the dead beneath Ankh-Morpork's spectral spires, yet cautioned that a single misinterpretation could invoke a Millennia-Old Curse more potent than any known to Egyptology. Their analysis was interrupted at dawn by tremors that rattled Cairo seismographs, recorded a 6.4 magnitude quake off the Mediterranean coast on May 14, 2025. Its waves felt from Alexandria to the Great Pyramid's shadow, a stark reminder that the earth beneath their feet was as unsettled as the secrets they pursued. As sunlight fractured on the Nile, rumors swirled online of its waters turning crimson, hearkening back to biblical plagues. Fact-checkers swiftly debunked these viral claims, confirming no such phenomenon had occurred and attributing all blood red footage to misidentified Chilean lagoons or seasonal silt flows. Yet this rational rebuttal did nothing to quell the team's superstitions. Each ripple on the river's surface seemed a portent, each gust across the tomb's lintel a whisper of ancient gods displeased. Balancing scholarly discourse with pulse-quickening suspense, Dr. Farouk scrawled celestial alignments in her journal cross-referencing last April's paper in the Journal of Near Eastern Studies that mapped Ankh-Morpork's glyphs to the Orion constellation, while the dealer fingered a forbidden's amulet and the linguist's pallor deepened as he read aloud the final verse, a vow that Ra's eye would rise at the cost of those who dared to steal its light. In that moment, empirical rigor collided with spectral dread, leaving listeners suspended between the realms of reason and the supernatural, eagerly awaiting the moment when discovery itself would tip into irrevocable catastrophe. Beneath flickering torchlight and the weight of centuries, Dr. Farouk's team descended into a labyrinth carved by hands long dusted to sand, where skeletal remains draped in golden foil lay scattered like sacrificial offerings. At first, objective surveys painted a picture of routine tomb exploration, yet every wall held strange murals depicting impossible geometry, towers spiraling into oblivion, domes crowned with jackal-headed deities, and above it all the name Ankh-Morpork rendered in looping hieroglyphs. This subterranean city, once dismissed by most Egyptologists as myth, has gained sudden credence in light of Italy and Scotland's controversial radar study, which just last week claimed a second hidden complex beneath the Pyramid of Menkaure, linking it to the original network beneath Khafre. Such data, if peer-reviewed, would rewrite the narrative of Giza's underworld. Yet prevailing experts remain split, cautioning that radar artifacts often masquerade as chambers, a debate reignited by a sensational March report from PisaUniversity.in. The hush of narrowing corridors, analytical rigor warred with primal dread. The rogue thief eyes gleaming with ancestral pride marveled at the frescoes, while the antiquities dealer calculated the market value of each gilt band. Meanwhile, the linguist's pale fingers trembled as he traced symbols that scholars, once linked to celestial alignments in Dr. Farouk's April 2025 paper, which mapped Ankh-Morpork's glyphs to the Orion constellation, His labored breath echoed like a heartbeat in the darkness, an ominous reminder of his fragile health. Then, without warning, one member vanished. Only a pair of sandals remained, neatly placed beside a shattered amphora. Whispers rippled through. The team, the eye demands its toll, an echo of the tablet's final verse decoded during their ritual under the full moon. Objective records confirm no official report of missing persons at the site, yet the archaeological logbook notes a sudden halt in communications that night, as if the desert itself had swallowed their colleague whole. As torches guttered and shadows danced across glyph-inscribed walls, listeners feel the ground tremble with each step, each breath caught between scholarly fascination and supernatural dread. This is no longer a mere excavation. It is a precarious plunge into a millennia-old curse, one that threatens to claim not only the vanished, but the very sanity of those who dare to unearth Egypt's deepest enigma. Heavy hush fell over the subterranean chamber as Dr. Farouk's trembling voice announced the first of three ancient rites, the trial of truth, demanding each seeker to confess a personal secret so potent that it would stain the tablet's surface. In that solemn moment, scholarly detachment and raw vulnerability collided objective. Records show that UNESCO's February 2025 guidelines on ritual sites emphasize the psychological strain such confessions can impose, yet here, beneath millennia of stone, each whispered admission felt like a heartbeat echoing into eternity. Next came the trial of sacrifice, wherein the covetous antiquities dealer was forced to relinquish a prized artifact, his own silver scarab amulet, to the ominously dubbed Coffer of Souls. Recent analysis in the Journal of Egyptological Studies, May 2025, underscores how these coffers often contained mundane offerings, not supernatural vessels. Still, as he dropped the scarab into its yawning maw, the clang rang with possible portent rather than archaeological normalcy. Under the flicker of torchlight, the air thickened with expectation as the third challenge, the trial of sight, was unveiled. Each member must gaze into a polished black obsidian mirror and confront their darkest fear. This mirror, newly documented by a Scottish-Egyptian conservation team just weeks ago, had never before been open to outsiders. Its reflective surface rumored to hold resonance frequencies that stir deep-seated visions. The linguist, his heart condition forgotten in the face of raw terror, peered in only to recoil as spectral shapes, half-formed jackals, and veiled pharaonic silhouettes swirled across the glass. Objective commentary affirms that no one truly knows whether these visions are psychosomatic or superhistorical. Regardless, each terrified gasp confirmed the mirror's uncanny power. Amid this crescendo of introspection and dread, betrayal cleaved their fragile alliance. The antiquities dealer, eyes ablaze with greed, lunged for the fractured tablet itself. In that split second, a phantom jackal guardian, its form coalescing from the chamber's shadows, sprang to life, its spectral jaws snapping shut mere inches from the dealer's hand. News of this jackal apparition has since ignited fierce debate among experts. Some dismiss it as the result of light refraction, while others, citing viral footage released June 10, 2025, insist the guardian's shape is unmistakable. As the chamber trembled and echoes of snarls faded into silence, listeners are left suspended between the realms of empirical critique and spine-chilling legend, poised on the brink of a revelation that could either vindicate the myths or doom all who dare disturb them. A sudden quake of anticipation shook the torchlit corridor as a concealed stone slab slid aside, revealing the vast, echoing expanse of an underground metropolis, its vaulted halls lined with colossal statues of jackal-headed deities, silent sentinels to a world long buried beneath the Giza Plateau. Objective reports from Italian archaeologists, published June 21, 2025, describe this hidden cavern dubbed Ankh-Morpork, as a sprawling network of streets and plazas carved from living rock. A discovery that, if verified, would upend our understanding of Egypt's funerary landscapes. Yet seasoned experts remain divided, while Professor Corrado Malanga's team lauds ground-penetrating radar images as proof of a 2-kilometer city beneath Menkaure. Skeptics like Professor Lawrence Conyers warn that radar reflections can create illusory spaces, cautioning against sensational interpretations until high-resolution scans are available. Even Dr. Zahi Hawass, ever the arbiter of Egyptian antiquities, publicly dismissed the notion of a subterranean urban sprawl as impossible, arguing that political motivations often overshadow rigorous peer review in headline-grabbing claims. Amid this tug-of-war between myth and empirical science, Dr. Amara Farouk stood before the eye's basalt pedestal, her voice steady as she translated the final glyph. Only the pure may calm the eye. Her academic amulet, a gift from the recent UNESCO-endorsed SECIDP Muon radiography project, glimmered in the cavern's gloom, its cosmic ray detectors having just completed preliminary scans of Khafre's inner chambers to unprecedented precision, promising future insights into hidden voids. As the subterranean city trembled with unexplained tremors, seismographs record a flurry of microquakes beneath Giza this June. The chamber's flickering lights danced across hieroglyphs that pulsed with an otherworldly glow. In that charged moment, the line between scientific breakthrough and supernatural reckoning blurred. Listeners sensed the ground's low rumble as both a geological anomaly and the heartbeat of a civilization rising from its own myth, daring us to decide whether Ankh-Morpork is the crowning achievement of modern archaeology or a curse that none should ever disturb. A disturb. Sudden blast of searing light engulfed the hidden chamber, followed by a profound echoing silence as the fractured tablet split along its ancient fault lines, its eldritch energies spent at last, contained within the confines of memory and myth. In that blinding instant, objective measurements recorded by the team's portable magnetometer calibrated only days earlier during UNESCO's Joint Magnetic Anomaly Survey of June 2025 showed a complete collapse of the anomalous field readings, confirming that whatever supernatural current had coursed through the tablet was now irrevocably dissipated. As dawn's first rays filtered through the desert haze, Dr. Farouk and her weary companions emerged blinking into the crisp morning light. Local water quality stations along the Nile, which had been placed on high alert following rumors of blood red currents, now reported pristine clarity, dispelling all myths of plague-like waters. Each survivor bore the indelible mark of their ordeal. The linguist's voice, once quavering with fear, now spoke with solemn conviction. The rogue thief's swagger had given way to a reverent quiet. Even the antiquities dealer, clutching a shard of gold foil fallen from one rain-lashed mural, seemed transfixed by memories that transcended mere profit. Yet as the world stirred awake to headlines heralding the team's miraculous containment of the Ankh-Morpork Curse reports already circulating in the June 24, 2025 edition of the Cairo Chronicle, Dr. Farouk returned to her study, drawn to a forgotten alcove where a single, unbroken fragment of the tablet rested beneath a layer of fine dust. By the flicker of her desk lamp, she traced its fresh etching, a new prophecy, shimmering with untold promise and peril. In that hushed moment, the boundary between discovery and destiny blurred once more, and listeners are left suspended in the charged silence of questions that refuse to remain buried.